Okay, so in this tutorial, we'll be looking at level 1 DFD. In the previous tutorial, we did the context level. This level 1 DFD will be based on the context level that we did previously, so it's like an expansion. So we'll be using the same practice scenario. So let us first look at the two main rules that we must follow when developing level 1 DFD. It must have a data store. It must have more than one processes, and the processes that are in the level 1 DFD, they must be derived from the context level. So in the context level DFD, we had point of sale ordering system. So in our level 1 DFD, we're going to try to identify all the sub processes, which is like all the little mini processes that are involved in the order system. So just let us take a quick look on the different processes that I've identified. And please remember that there is no one right answer for DFD. All you have to do is just ensure that you're following the rules. So there's a general rule when creating DFD, which is no entity to entity, no entity to data store. And then under each level, you have your rules as well. So just follow the rules and you should be fine. So the processes that were identified, 5 processes were identified. Some persons might identify 3, 4, 6. It just depends on your interpretation. And then, as I said before, what matters is that you're following the rule. So whenever you're ordering an item, generally it is scanned. The barcode is scanned. So that can be the first process. After the barcode is scanned, an order total is usually calculated. After an order total is calculated, payment is then requested. After payment is requested, a receipt is generated, and then after receipt is generated, the items are usually packed away in a bag or a box. So those are the 5 processes that I identified from the large ordering process from the context level. As I said, you can have different processes once you're following the rules. And then for our entities, as you can see, we have the same 2 entities from the context level. So which are customer and cashier. So unlike the process where in the level 1 you add more processes and you would also add more data store, you don't usually add more external entities. It's usually the same external entities from the context level that you use in your level 1. So let us now go through this DFD and see if we can get some clarity as to how this really works. So let's start with our customer, which is our first external entity. So the customer brings the items to be scanned. So the barcode is scanned, and then from the scanning of the barcode, the item name and the item price is retrieved and stored in a database that we're calling item data. Also from the scan, the item name and the quantity ordered is generated and stored in another database that we're calling inventory. So after the item is scanned, then we need to calculate the order total. To calculate the order total, we definitely need the price of the item. So you can get the price of the item from the item data database. So just ensure that you're following the cursor. So the price of the item is from the item data database, and also we would need the quantity ordered, so we can get the quantity ordered from the inventory database. So we're going to use the quantity ordered and the item price to calculate the order total. So the order total that is calculated is then placed in another process. But before a receipt can be generated, the customer needs to receive their order total. So I have the order total going across in red because I'm crossing lines. This is not usually recommended for you to overlap lines like this. So because I'm crossing lines, I put it in another color so you can differentiate the flow. So from the order total process, the order total is produced and it is being sent to the customer. So the customer receives the order total, and then after the customer receives the order total, then payment is given through the payment process, and then eventually reaches the cashier. So the cashier receives the payment. All right. So now when the cashier receives the payment, the cashier can go ahead, because look, the processes are numbered. So you might be wondering, so how I'm all the way over here and then I'm skipping on the other side of the DFD. You have to look on the numbering of the process. So this is one, means that it comes first, then you have two, then we have three. So that is why we ended up all the way over here. And now we have four. So after you receive payment, you need to go to four and generate a receipt. All right, so to generate the receipt, the order total was taken from the calculate order total process, and also the item name and the item price was taken from the database, the item data database, and then the receipt is produced and given to the customer. Now we're finished with process 4. We need to go to process 5. So with process 5 now, then after the customer receives the receipt and payment has been received, then we can go ahead and start packing the items. So the cashier brings the item through the packing process, and then it is sent to the customer. All right. So remember, everybody might have different solutions. So in the packing process, some persons might want to include like another entity, like a packing person, which is what we usually have, but we want to stick with the rules, and then remember that usually any entity that you use in the context level, that is the entity that we want to use in the level 1. All right, but with the DFD, the thing is, nothing is set in stone. It's just about following the rules, and once you follow the rules, you should be okay. Also pay attention to the numbering of the processes. In the context level, we had the one process numbered as 0, and this is because the context level is also called level 0. And then in our first level, which is level 1, we start numbering our sub processes 1, 2, 3, 4. So in order to help with the flow or the direction of information or the direction of data in the information system, we look on the number of the processes so you know which direction to go. All right. So do not get confused and say, okay, after I scan the barcode, should I go right here or should I go down here? Just look on the numbering of the processes and then you know which one is next and which direction to go. All right. So I hope this provided some sort of clarity, and thank you for listening.